are some sporadic power across the area, and that's why you want to have multiple ways to get those folks and power to both guys. We are still trying to multiple areas of circulation within this storm. So, yeah, weather out, weather fall, all good ways to get those. Weather radio, also good ways to get those. Right now, across the state.
Okay, and that number could potentially go up. That's a meteorologist, Chelsea Simmons, as we track multiple circulations. Listen, we're not talking high-end EF3, EF4, EF5 tornadoes. Nothing like that out of this line. But sporadic damaging storms and circulations are possible on just multiple spots along this line. I mean, I can make an argument down here south of Columbus as well. There's a little notch there that, again, will not look as pronounced as the one we have up here that we believe could have potentially briefly produced tornado, and then yet another one up north. So, I mean, I have 3 spots that I feel fairly comfortable saying could be damaging and possibly damaging in the form of a tornado. So, again, I'm going to catch every little thing close up in front here, every small community that I can in this zone here, and say, listen, if you live in the Forest community or Cruise, 6211, 622, that's the time right now. We need to be in that tornado safe place. A New Hope. I know you're not officially in a tornado warning down here. We need to be in that tornado safe place. Beaverton, Fulton Bridge, Millport. We look at Millport about 630, 628 in Lake Lowndes. There's just enough enhancement in these rotations by the time they're very obvious on here. Some of them have been sustained for 3 or 4 scans, but many are there and they're not. So again, right on the leading edge of this, I want you to treat this like a tornado warning in each of these spots because it's possible one could pop up there. Certainly that is the concern in this situation. So as we kind of clear that off and bring it in, we'll start south and work north on this line. Actually, we'll start north and work south. It's been the longest time since we've been closer to this one near Hamilton. Looking at the wind mode on Storm Track Doppler radar, it is not quite as pronounced this scan as it was the one before, but still this spot here north of Detroit there, trying very hard to produce something more significant. So that is the location we're looking at, more of an easterly direction where it is going. And with the latest scan here, we're getting that close to Fulton Bridge and the south side of Hamilton there. We show Fulton Bridge at about 6:31. Time until this storm, again at 40 miles, assuming about 45 miles per hour, time until this area circulation hits I-22 is no more than about 7 minutes based on where it is now. So 7 minutes until it attempts to cross I-22, an area of rotation that might be just an area of rotation, but it also might be something more. This is what originally prompted the tornado warning in Monroe County was this portion of the thunderstorm, and certainly it is worth monitoring very closely as it moves through Marion County. Now, clearing that off there, and looking south along this line, toward again where the leading edge is showing some of those interactions. There's no question that the one here to the west of Hyphae is where we're bent in the most. It's the most favorable. I don't know that I can confirm tornado debris on that at this instant, but it's clear that this little notch there, little indentation, this S that you see, that is something that research tells us possible that we could see this try to spin something up. So I want to make sure I have Vernon on this track as well. Certainly both, even though you're outside of the warning in Vernon, I would be in my safest location there as that tries to move into your area, or at least close. Because that, you can even just, it's pretty obvious that you can see that kind of bending back in there. So that's the zone that we are watching the most closely. So we're along County Road 9, moving toward Alabama Highway 17. Now, time until 17 is not long. I'd say it's no more than probably 2 minutes from crossing Alabama 17. So obviously, we should be sheltering in place if we're up in Vernon or in Hytherby, and we should not be crossing that road because one of 2 things can happen. This is either going to be a tornado, or this is damaging straight line winds. It's going to hit 17 from the side. That means high-profile vehicles such as semi-trucks. When it hits you from the side, your vehicle is not designed to be hit from the side. That's what ends up rolling it over. Not just trees or whatever else could happen with lifting it up. But even if it's just straight line winds, it's going to be potentially significant in that regard. Go back a few scans, you can tell that area circulation is actually reaching its peak right now, which means there's the other one we were tracking a minute ago. Again, it's not often that I can say I have two areas that could be tornadoes that are no more than 4 miles apart, but that is the case. This is the one that previously had the tornado debris signature. I was just in too close to catch it a moment ago. So as you can see, unfortunately, we've got two that we're monitoring, and I would say this one's the most likely to be producing a tornado near Moores Mill Road, no more than about 1.5 miles west of Haitookie, no more than about 1 mile west of Alabama Highway 17. An area of circulation that could potentially be a tornado forming, at the very least is damaging. The southern circulation, we're now showing it no more than about 4 to 5 miles to the west of Alabama Highway 17. And for the Kingville community, we're about 6 miles away in 8 minutes, again, assuming about 45 miles per hour, putting on other locations there into Kingville, in southern Lamar County there, central and southern Lamar County. We're looking at Bethlehem Church at 626. Again, if you live near these spots, we need you in your tornado safe place. These actually, the circulations, I'm doing Chelsea's opinion on this for a second. I feel like these are lasting a little longer than you typically see out of those spin-ups.
Yeah.
Would you
and
agree?
They stay fairly consistent,
Yes.
especially looking at the radar with those launches
Mhm.
for longer than what we went to.
Absolutely. So the fact that the notches have stuck around means, again, something greater than just flash in the pan, circulation is there. So unfortunately, we need to definitely be in that tornado safe place. As far as defining what we're looking at here, this Doppler radar indicated rotation that could develop into a tornado. Debris, we might have potentially had some brief tornado debris confirmable when this was in Lowndes County. I don't know if that's something I can confirm at this moment here. On this, I know that's something I can't confirm at this moment. And then down toward Fernbank, look at this. Okay, let's go wider here. I mean, I got 3 areas, all 3 fairly tight, and I'm wrong on my angle. Let me watch that again. I'm wrong on my angle. There's absolutely no northerly component to any of these 3. They are straight east, maybe even just a little bit south of east. So start north here, Haitookie, 728, that's this time. Hopefully we're sheltered. Millport, Fernbank, this one's over top of you, damaging wind at least, hopefully not something more. Nazarene Church there, 631, Millport 632, Kennedy 639, Riverside Church at 639, and Rock Curve Church at 641. And then the one in the middle there, again, this is kind of best case scenario timing here. And I'm tracking it from the last scan, which is probably not the right choice. Let's give you a little buffer on that. Faith Church at about 628, Walnut Grove Church 629, East Webster High School. This is, by the way, in Lamar County, probably an old high school there. I don't know for sure. I apologize for that. 631, New Canaan Church at 633, Belk at 642, and that exits into Fayette County after that. That's become Birmingham's coverage area at that point. Kind of looking along the line here. The scan fully in. No, it is not. So we'll see whether or not that indentation holds. We'll have a new scan to be able to track some stuff. The angle's not right on most of the rest of this, so we don't really have to look very closely at that. The angle's just not right. With the exception of Forston, I'm going to give you a quick track there into Pickens County and give you like a long track toward Reform. This is not something I'm super worried about at the moment, but there hasn't been a ton of lead time on some of these. 654 there in the Reform were to make it in. McShann at 645, Ethelsville at 630. Excuse me, 640, 641, Delma, and Forston at 632. Come back up this line, full new scan there, very notchy on the southern part. Let's double check the northern part here. Looking for wind. I don't have anything that's very super obvious comparative to what we have down south. I'm just going to give you kind of a broad track on this northern part, stick with what's most significant at the moment. And this broad track, again, going through really kind of the everything else. Snap a picture of this. If you know somebody who's ahead of this, send them this. Let them know, hey, we've had some brief spin-ups. I know it is 6:30 in the morning. I know a lot of folks getting up at this point, a lot more than even just 20 minutes ago. Send them this picture. Give you about 5 seconds to do that. 4, 3, 2, 1. Winfield 640. Watching this for you. Twin 636. You in there at about 634. As this works its way toward Brilliant at 644. At this time. Doppler radar indicated rotation in some spots, but down here in Lamar County, multiple locations we could have tornadoes at this instant. Unfortunately, I'm going to leave those tornado safety rules off. I think we talked about those enough. I'll verbalize them as necessary, but I need to, unfortunately, pay close attention to make sure that I have it as close on this as possible. It does look like the northern of these circulations there. Now, east of Hythe, north of Turkey Lane or near Turkey Lane there, and County Road 49 has weakened some. We'll get your storm track, then we're going to get in on most of what we have down south. So I don't know, we're going to get a ton of stuff to pop up on this. Hankton Church there at about 640. We're looking at Coven at 643. Cedar Hill, again, this Lamar of Fayette County area there at about 644. The other two circulations do look to be mature and still significant enough to be worth concerning. I'm going to give you an all track on both of these to kind of catch some extra spots. And then we're going to get kind of nitty gritty on these. So again, and I will put tornado safety rules on this for a moment and give you the opportunity to send a picture to somebody that you know that might live out here in eastern Lamar County. The Millport one's a little more broad at this moment, but we need to make sure we're in a sturdy structure. The stop rate indicated location. I cannot confirm degree, but again, that's something we do after the fact. To that point, locations in Lowndes County were removed from the tornado warning, tornado potential is past. You come out of that tornado safe place. There, really any spots within that warning in Lowndes County, Caledonia, Steens, we're all good to go at this point there. But Millport 631, and that is, well, was the time when I did this track. So obviously on top of you. Kingville 634, it's been only another minute or two. Kennedy at 639, Belt 643. I know a few other spots there as well in that list. If you know somebody that lives near one of those, make sure they're aware of what this is looking like and what this is doing. Now let's get in nice and close on these and analyze sort of what it's capable of. We'll start with the northern circulation up here near Morris Road, approaching Alabama Highway 17. Pull off those tornado safety rules for a moment. Alabama Highway 17, how will this go versus Kingville? Our circulation here is heading this way, like that. So let's get the storm track heading that way, specifically for this northern circulation. And I'm adjust it just a little bit east of where that is. See new scan coming in, so that was a good call. New scan should come in here in a moment. And when it does, it should be right there. So County Road 24 there in its intersection of Highway 17. Now along Alabama Highway 17, we have two potential tornadoes there in Lamar County, just southwest of Kingville and very near the Millport area. Two areas of circulation. Again, tracking there along and near County Road 20 within the next minute or so. Let's look at this southern area of circulation. Fairly tight. It's not this well wrapped around and concentrated. I say it's fairly tight. But I'd say on the northern end there near the intersection of Suggs Road, Fernbank Road there, I guess, and Alabama Highway 17, about half a mile east of that is where that area of circulation is at this moment here. Moving toward Mount Pleasant Church, I do have a fairly open area there. We'll pull off the radar data for a second, see if we can kind of catch anything obvious there. Of course, thankfully, that does look like it's primarily woods in that section there, but Kennedy is just beyond, hence the concern that we have with this. Put that radar data back on. And let's double check the angle that this is heading. Yeah, that is, see, that would look like one area of circulation up here just on the precipitation mode. And it could potentially be that that's the more significant. And again, just there near the Pickens Lamar County line, there's another spot down there on the end as well. Man, Chelsea, I don't remember a whole lot of times we're tracking so many little spins in such a concentrated area. It's this is a once or twice a year thing at most. I mean, every time I try to get, fine scale on this, it's like, oh wait, there's another indentation worth tracking. So Kennedy, if you're ahead of this, and I also keep having a northerly angle on this. Let's go ahead and have it angled slightly south. It's just on the precipitation mode, it looks like it's going more east, maybe a northerly track, but clearly, I mean, when we're looking at the wind mode, there's a little bit of a southerly track back there. So Kennedy at 640, that's 5 minutes at most. That's not true. That's 4 minutes at most. We'll get a new scan. So I mean, We need to be in that tornado safe place to live in Kennedy. Meadow Branch Church, we show 6:36, which is the current time, as is the case also for Liberty Church there. Palmetto, again, this is Lamar and Pickens County, Alabama. That general area there, we're looking at 6:41 for you. Knowing some other folks in the Palmetto community near Tupelo, that is not the case. You are good to go in that location there. Eventually for Chapel Hill Baptist Church and at Palestine Church as we get closer to around 6:50. As you'll note, that tornado warning does extend till 7 a.m. Let's go wider on this, kind of reset here for a moment. I'm Chief Meteorologist Matt Lawpon alongside meteorologist Chelsea Simmons. You're watching extended tornado warning coverage as part of WTVA 9 News today. Chelsea has been tracking these storms all night long. These are some of the thunderstorms that we identified back toward the Mississippi River as potentially the zone where we're going to have the strong straight line winds, possibly spin up tornadoes. And unfortunately, that has become the case. I want to look down here into this would be Noxubee County. There are a couple areas of maybe broad rotation on this. As you can see, rotation detected. Better to be safe versus sorry. I think the reason why the National Weather Service there in Jackson issuing that distinction on this. Most of this line does not look like it is spinning much. Let's take it directly east at 45 miles per hour to get back up to where we do have multiple circulations right now. Take a picture here if you live in Ravine, Macon, 650 or so, so within the next 13 minutes for you. Saps at 659 there. We do Gordo at about 707, and Aliceville we show about 721. Doppler radar indicated rotation that could strengthen at some point. The angle's not quite right. But just even on the precipitation mode, there are two areas where this bends back in, up here around Hamilton, and then, of course, what we have in southern Lamar County there. Let's go wind mode on both of those. Certainly, it's hard to not see the brighter returns down here in southern Lamar County. And this is either wind damage or something more than wind damage, hence the reason why the tornado warning has been issued. And so, again, getting that track on this based on its latest position. Show these tracks a lot. The reason for that is that the only thing that I can do to help you protect you and your family in this situation is let you know how long until whatever this is gets to you. And then we will know more of what that is here in a minute. I apologize. It's going to, there we go. We got the angle right on that. So Higdon Church at 637. That's basically when I started this track there, 637, 638 now. So it's moving into your area right now. Same with Meadow Branch Church, Riverside Church there at 638, Kennedy 640, Wilson Church 642, Harmony Primitive Baptist Church there at 644, and Pilgrim Church there. Again, it says historical. Probably no one goes there anymore, but people might know that from previous time. 645 there. So this is moving pretty quickly at about 45 miles per hour and could potentially require a tornado warning out in the Fayette County, Alabama. That is, again, it's Birmingham's area. So at that point, we will pass this off to them. Looking for tornado debris on this line in the last few minutes here. A lot of times we'll spend more time working to confirm has this produced debris. The reason we are not prioritizing that in this situation is because there's just enough spins that rather than poking and prodding in one spot, in doing so, we might miss a different area of spin. So give me a moment while I go back and kind of see if, let's say one of the locations, I'm going to check, see if that correlates back. No, that doesn't. Okay. So I don't know that I've been able to really see much in the way of tornado debris out of this to this point, thankfully. But again, that's something that, is important to kind of poke and prod at after the fact as opposed to during the middle of it. So, but I at least had to try to see if we could confirm it, and I have not been able to confirm it yet. So fingers crossed we're not dealing with something, because what ultimately this is probably a line of 60, 65 mile per hour winds with localized enhancements where this tries to produce a tornado. And so the localized area where the tornado is might have 75, 85 to 90 mile per hour winds. So again, it is the wind that causes damage in either case, and hence the reason this tornado warning has been issued. Obviously, one we want to make sure we respect. Current time is 6:40 a.m. I'm Chief Meteorologist Matt Lawpon alongside our meteorologist Chelsea Simmons. Well, now it's about to kick over to 6:40 a.m. And we are tracking two circulations here around the Kennedy area where we need to be sheltering in place at this time from a potential tornado. At the very least, it's damaging winds moving in, and hopefully not too terribly bad in that regard, but There are circulations there that have been maintained, and I think it's pretty easy outside of just where the circles I'm circling this. That if I kind of widen the shot out here, you'll notice those are the two places that instantly catch your eye. There's only one other spot, and it's up here near Hamilton. Let's look at that. This is one of the locations we were tracking more closely a little bit ago. And I would say let's treat this one like a tornado warning as well. Up here near County Road 253. This is northeast of north of I-22. Yep, right there. That probably, let's check that. I don't know that I can officially confirm that as a tornado touchdown, but I would be treating this like this could potentially be a tornado out here moving toward the White House community. The reason I say that, that's also in the spot where this is kind of bending back. They are, National Weather Service in Birmingham, trying to decide whether or not they need to issue a tornado warning on this at this exact moment. Last scan might have been a slightly better time, but neither they nor I saw it at that point. We're so concentrating on these two down there in Lamar County. So yeah, I would make sure if you live near Bethlehem Church, I'm going to kind of change the angle a little bit, adjust that. Rock Church of Christ, right there behind the banner is Hamilton. There's Twin and Stinson and Brilliance. This is kind of between there, move very near Stinson area and kind of toward the north and east. So the White House community is 651, Pleasant Ridge Church at 652 and 656 there, and Thornhill Church of Christ. Doppler radar indicated rotation could potentially require National Weather Service Birmingham to issue a tornado warning on that there, as they have on these two circulations down south. Looking at those a little more closely, and let's adjust our positioning on our circulations. Again, I would put it near Alabama Highway 96, very near Belk, and then east of Kennedy there. Both of those areas of circulation could potentially have some issues with them. The northern of those may potentially be showing a little bit of tornado debris. Let's go ahead and double check that. Chelsea, right there near the 96 sign. That lines up. That's enough. That's a 6:30 in the morning tornado debris signature. That might not be a 6:30 in the evening when we have eyeballs on at 1, but that's enough that maybe it's not for sure debris. Let's just be crystal clear. But that's more than enough in my mind to say, Belk, this one has some serious moves. So let's make sure we're in that tornado safe place there if you live near the Belk community up here near the Lamar Fayette County line. So 646 there in Belk, Coven Elementary School at 650, but Harmony Primitive Baptist Church 645. That is within the next minute and a half. That is trying very hard to produce a tornado at this moment. So certainly need to be taking our tornado safety measures as seriously as we can in those spots. We want to come back out here to north of Pickensville, one of those other little notches that we were watching a little bit ago. Not quite as impressive as it was. Let's get you a generalized storm track on this whole section down here. It does include Noxubee County, and I apologize, Noxubee County, for not spending as much time talking about you as we're talking about some of these other spots. I mean, you get enough tornadoes to understand why. We're trying to hone in on the ones that could be the most impactful, most dangerous at this moment. So Macedonia community there, we showed about 644. We're looking at Reform at 647. Tracking there toward Carrollton at 653, Gordo 702, Aliceville 705, Dancy at 714, and the Samantha community there about 713. Doppler radar indicated strong winds and perhaps rotation with that as well in some spots. That is nowhere near as impressive as some of the other storms that we've had. Okay, now our areas of circulation here are now crossing out of Lamar County and into Fayette County. As we talked about earlier, once it goes into Fayette County, that is something that the folks over in Birmingham at the television stations over there, they cover. Just have this tendency to want to have a northern track on it. It's not directly east. So I'll give you a final track on this here, but at this point here is where we disengage from this. Just the way the puzzle pieces of television TV markets come together. I know that that's not the way everybody, certainly on the streaming end, necessarily views this. But as far as the broadcast end, which is what we service on WTVA on air at this point, As far as that's concerned, this is where we hand this over to the folks in Birmingham. But I do want to give you, for those folks on streaming, another opportunity to look at this and then track this ahead there. So we can see some times there. If you know some folks who live in southern Fayette County, take a picture, send this over to them. As far as Fayette proper is concerned, I have that at the top of the screen there, right behind the box. The strongest portion of the rotation likely staying south of Fayette. So watching this closely, though, obviously for southern Fayette County, northern Pickens County also involved in that. Let's go up to Marion County and check out that area of circulation that we have up there, that we had up there as well, close to the White House community. It does not look quite as impressive as it did a few minutes ago. Let's go back to the precipitation mode on this. Yeah, it was definitely a lot more interesting on that as well a few minutes ago. I think not a bad spot to track it would be right there where we had our arrow. And I do, now that we're in more sensitive mode, I want to give you a storm track on this. And then I want to look at the debris mode a little more closely. Again, once this crosses out of Marion County, this goes into Birmingham's area as well. So we're looking there at Pine Grove Church at 649. Doppler radar indicated rotation still fairly broad at this moment versus where it was a few minutes ago. Just that, yes, a little more. Let's consolidate that. Pine Grove Church, we show 649. Current time is about 646, almost 647. We're looking at Brock Church of Christ at 650. The White House community at about 650 as well. So, about 3 minutes away or so. Oak Grove Church of Christ at 655. Glen Mary at 658. Thornhill Church of Christ at 656. And the Hoggle Church at about, about 7 a.m. So let's look for debris on this one here. Again, this is probably our primary potential tornado producing thunderstorm at this moment. Let's go back and see if we had potentially something, especially right when it crossed I-22 there. That's a fairly pronounced look at that. I'm going to double check to see if we're on the most sensitive version of Storm Track Doppler here. I would say that that's awfully close, but I don't have tornado debris on that, but I think it could potentially cause some damage there right as it crossed I-22. But I would say whatever that is has broadened out more and is less likely producing something at this moment. Now, near Brilliant, again, we just have to kind of catch these as they kind of get enhanced. That one's starting to strengthen a little bit more northeast of Brilliant, so it's going to be similar spots in the track I pop up there versus what we had a moment ago. But again, this has a ways to go before it gets to producing tornado sort of status. Natural Bridge, we're looking at 658 for you, 651 to Bethel Church of Christ. As I kick this back to regular rainfall mode, we're going to wind things back out and we're going to reset here for a moment. National Weather Service has gone ahead and canceled early the tornado warning for Lamar County because the threat has ended for Lamar County. They have also lifted the severe thunderstorm warning for Noxubee County as of 6:45. What I think we want to do there in the back room is that we want to take a quick commercial break here because we are in the middle of a broadcast, reset some things, make sure that we use wisely our next few minutes here. So we're going to take a brief commercial break for those folks there in the back. We come back on WTVA 9 News. We'll come back here to the Chroma Key when we do that here in just a moment. All right? Okay. On a little spin. Anyway, so that's out of the so we're good there. Do we have any storm reports from County or anything like that?
The only ones we got was Alcorn County, and it was, I put it in the chat.
Alcorn County?
Yes, Alcorn County from early this morning. Have it up to 2 or
Okay, I'll pull it up over here. Number 2.
I don't know about max 2, sorry.
Yeah, that should be max 2. Max comes up.
It's not on max.
Oh, it's not visible. Okay, got it. Okay, so let's get on Alcorn County.
Yes. I even
Number 415. Okay, I will see if it is that in our like joint chat as well.
I think I put it in the weather chat.
Let's see here. That's something all over right there.
That is
And that came from the emergency manager there.
south of Assistant, south of Florence is where that is, but a little bit bigger still,
Okay, I'll see if I can get
just
that.
east of.
Okay, I will let you give that info. Let's see if this is on all mail.
That initial.
6:45 a.m. What we've got here, primarily small hail. What's this at? Incident direction. That's in Coffeyville. Okay, so yeah, so we luckily have not had a lot. I'm gonna take them. I'm gonna show that. Yes, and then we'll have Chelsea's mic queued and ready to go. About 30 seconds. Okay, I'm gonna be up here on Marion County when we come back to that. Also, do you have power outages ready just in case?
Yeah.
We'll double check over here. Current time 6:51. I'm Chief Meteorologist Matt Waffle alongside our meteorologist Chelsea Simmons here as we continue to assess rotating thunderstorms moving through Marion County, Alabama. Most of these are still fairly broad. This one near Brilliant still is the area of circulation I'm kind of most concerned with. It looks like it could be where it's wrapping around the backside on this. Go ahead and get that. Man, there's a couple other spots there as well that have little localized enhancements. We're going to track all three of those and give you kind of an idea of what we could be seeing, because this is about to exit Marion County. So that's why I'm going to give you the shortest of tracks here, because it's just about out of the county. Wait for that to kind of populate in there. Fern Springs Church at 6:53. Hey, just out of an abundance of caution, these are not as strong as the circulation we had a minute ago there, but I do want to make sure that we're in our sturdiest possible location here. So looks like here we're in pretty good shape at this moment. But for the most part, I would just make sure we're in our sturdiest possible location. Natural Bridge there at 6:56, Dogtown 6:58, Spring Hill Church at 6:58 at this time. As far as southern Lamar County is concerned, information coming in from some of our partners in the Birmingham area that no reports of damage out of this section of the county at this point. Hopefully that continues to be the kind of things that we are hearing, so a good sign there that perhaps we have not had significant damage out of whatever this has been there. But as far as damage is concerned, our meteorologist Chelsea Simmons has been tracking some of that. You said you had some reported from up in the Alcorn County area. This probably would have been from some of the earlier stuff overnight. Is that correct?
Yes, it was from the overnight storm. We actually got that before the storm, the morning show. So it was through the overnight storm, and that was going to be on County Road 15. And what that was, it was a tree that looked like it was fallen over on a shed type building. That was from the Assistant EMA Director of Alcorn County. Now, we also have a lot of power outages across the state. Over 17,000 folks without power right now. For our area, there's going to be over 120 people in Chicago County without, over 400 people in County without power, over 200 people in Warren County. Most of that is in the southwest portion of the state. They've had much stronger storm through. But also, we're towards the Alabama side right now. Marion County, 520 people without power. And Lamar County, 401 people without power. But other than that tree that has fallen on the structure there, that has been the only report of damage.
Okay, and that's tree you're talking about now. Give that information one more time. Now we've got it up.
That was on County Road 420, 415.
Okay.
And that was sent in at around 4:19. So I have to go over that.
Okay. So clearly that's probably one of the first rounds we had earlier during the overnight hours that caused that. And it's a reminder why we always want you in a sturdier structure. Clearly that's a metal building, and not just a normal metal building, but a shed, some kind of outbuilding there, or maybe shop that had that fall in. More often than not, it's trees falling into something that causes a lot of the issues that we end up having. Appreciate that picture being shared. Again, primary threat for significant severe weather, Fayette County, Alabama, that portion of the line. and the part up here that's in far eastern Marion County, where we're kind of tracking some of that as well. Let's take one more break here real quick, and we'll come back and kind of wrap things up as where we're at and assess whether or not we need to go into Good Morning America for today's show. So we'll take a quick break. Be right back. Okay. Let's come south here. Give me a reason, Chelsea, to stay on during today. Okay. At this point, I'm tempted to toss today because, I mean, 20 minutes ago, no, but now, yes. It's just not a good angle on any of this. Good enough angle. I mean, it's not like this where it's tilted back. It's not like that. I mean, whatever the circulation is up here in Marion County, we'll be crossing. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, whatever that
It'll
is.
be crossing in the next 5.
Yeah. I mean, if it hasn't already. Like,
Yeah.
but both those little areas have probably crossed.
Yeah, I mean, this new scan is right.
Yeah. So I don't see a dedicated reason for us to continue. But now let's go. Now southern Fayette County, that is just talk about trying.
Yeah.
Like, I'm hoping they don't go back and find more with that, because it's like your two areas of circulation is largely combined. They're just, yeah. It's funny, last night, Penny's like, well, what happened if two big storms came together and spun together? I'm like, that never really ever happened.
We've been on those. When
But
I did my school talking facility, somebody asked me that.
yeah, I mean, it's well, you know, I'm like, it's destructive interference, you know, and likely the case here. But the two spots that were circulating, you know, again, what could have been broad circulation and tighter circulation, you know, it's possible that you get an enhancement there. But, and I will say, look at precip mode there, and it's not obvious there, but I'm gonna put on the smoothing. I'm gonna crank that up for a second and watch this. You see that? That little comma head there? So putting on extra smoothing, helping on that. We'll just leave it like that for a minute. We'll stay right there at start. Okay, thank you. Okay, so we're southern Fayette County here. This is outside the area, but this is easily the strongest storm, and I want to show you for comparative purposes where we can see basically wind from all the directions. This is what moved through southern Lamar County. Definitely the strongest rotation. So this is what strong rotation looks like. Okay, so I wanted to pull that out and show you that even if I turned off all warnings, everything else, there is nothing that even kind of catches the eye like that. I mean, I'm going to turn basically everything I can off, just so you can see there's nothing on this outside of that on the scan that concerns me. So I do think we will here in a minute probably go to Good Morning America with the Today Show, because I don't think that any of the rest of what we have out there is strong enough to maintain coverage over top of those shows. Now, obviously, we're not going anywhere. We'll still be here. But everything back out here, in particular, back into Noxubee and Winston counties, the angle is not right for that. I mean, there's some broad areas of little wide sort of rotation, but nothing that's anywhere near strong enough to produce a tornado at this time. Fair assessment, Chelsea?
Fair, yes.
Okay, so equally as important, so we widen this out, let's talk about what is not the case. And there is no tornado threat. If you're out here, West Point, Columbus, Starkville, Amory, Tupelo, Boonville, Red Bay, Hamilton, Alabama, Sollichet, and really north of Louisville, the overwhelming majority of our area, I would not worry about going to work at this point here or school. There are some delays. We have those listed at WTVA.com. But unless you're right here in advance of this, there's really no issues, I think, getting out other than those wet roadways. Build in extra time for that. And if something changes, we'll be right here to bring you the very latest information. Okay. So still on the live stream here behind the scenes a little bit. We'll probably pop that back up and stay with this for a few more minutes. Watch Noxubee County do Noxubee County things on me. Noxubee County always does Noxubee County things. Let's look at Noxubee County from Jackson. Everything's still very broad rotation down there. So to say again here for a moment, I see on our behind the scenes chat for a second, folks going, okay, let's talk here on a wider scale. What we're looking at here, in general on kind of the overview. First off, I'll go ahead and I should have got the tool out to circle things, and I did not a moment ago. And so I'm going to draw here a line, and hopefully we know where our cities are. But I would say anywhere kind of in this zone back behind this, whatever reason it's making me click, but you get the point. We have nothing more to worry about in this zone back behind here. So the greatest concern is out ahead, and then done behind this. So this is one I've never tried before. Go to school is basically all of this over here. I know sometimes we do go to sleep on these live streams. This is the go to school zone. If you're out here, Solent, West Point, Columbus, Starkville, really anywhere in Lowndes, Tibahaw County, Northern Winston, maybe, let's just say Noxubee, not the case yet. Pickens, not the case yet. But Lamar, Marion, Franklin County, and really everything north and west. I'd say 99% of who can watch us here, or 95% of who can watch us here on WTVA, we're done. It's just rain. There will be some flooded roadways out there, and it is conceivable there could be some spots where we have trees that have come down. But the only real concern I have at this point is parts of Winston, Noxubee, and maybe Pickens County. At Noxubee, the only one of those three that I'd say looks even remotely interesting at this moment. And interesting, obviously, is what we're trying to avoid here. We're looking south of Macon. Just noting that this has a little bit of an angle to it, more so than it had a few minutes ago. You'll note if we go back a few minutes, that was not quite as well organized there. And we also are very far away from the radar site. Chelsea, is this just the 24 hours where I toss and go, oh, that was a bad idea? In retrospect, like am I just going to make the choice to get out of this wrong over and over again? Paulette, McLeod there. I'd prefer if we were in a safer location. This is for the first time in a while. See how it makes that S shape? Just a kind of hint behind the scenes. Anytime I'm making a storm track and it's fairly close in and it's an S shape, pay attention to the middle of the S where you get the changes there, because that's the spot where you're most likely to see something try to spin up. So Paulette and Dancy and Vienna there in the path of a little bit of at least broad rotation showing up on that there.
We have a
go ahead.
cut in at 7:50.
At 7:15, we're going to take that cut in live, right?
That's what I told. I said, Brett,
Okay.
it's told Brett, it's probably gonna be live.
Okay.
And he said after that, it's kind of hard to
I know.
tell you a specific time, but
Yeah.
about
Yeah, generally speaking, depending on whatever happened in national, right? Okay, so there's updated times. I do not have obvious any tornado debris or anything like that. I do think we'll have a new scan coming in here in a moment, and I do think our rotation, it's easy for me to catch that, my eye catch that near Paulette, but you'll notice the precipitation does not line up with that. It's at the edge there, so it's actually kind of bad data to a certain extent. Let's see, spectrum width. This is not something I show very often, but it's one way to kind of check, for obviously significantly bad data, because sometimes we'll get really on this, it's the opposite of what I just said. We'll get really, really bad data if you've had some kind of intense circulation. And that's not something that I can confirm at this moment on here. I'd say all rotation in Noxubee County is pretty broad. And what we're seeing ahead there is probably not the more significant. Man, Fayette County, that near New Lexington. Pretty classic what we expect out of one of these lines. Clearly, that's where when we were looking at these rotation tracks before this ever happened, that's the kind of stuff we were looking at there, is these areas circulation like this. I mean, what we said for like 5 days, it was going to be basically morning show messaging nightmare. Technically, it is Sunday, but it's not. It's
Yeah.
Monday. It's Sunday night until, isn't it Sunday night until you wake up Monday morning? That
Yeah.
depends on if you ever went to bed, right? Huh? Still the weekend for you? She said what?
Yes, like,
So you're just gonna, this will make it only a 4-day work week for you if that's the case, if it's still the weekend. Ugh. I mean, I got a solid 2, 1.5, 2. I didn't sleep before I came in because I laid down and tried. I couldn't sleep earlier.
yeah,
Uh,
solid.
And then, but I got home and I was like, it took me a while to calm down. And then the tornado warning came in because part of the reason, so for a long time when I'd get weather calls, it'd be my voice. And the reason it's not my voice on the weather calls now is I had weather calls set me up with, hey, if there's a tornado warning anywhere in our viewing area, I get that. Yeah, so that's why it's ringing when it's not actually us anymore. So the idea of being, it'd wake me up in the middle of the night if there's any kind of tornado warning in our area. I do not suggest signing up for that version of weather call for a normal person. That would be really annoying. But for me, make sure I get up. Do you want to sign up for that one as well, Chelsea?
Absolutely.
And the reason that is the right answer for her is there are some times that we have to have Chelsea sleep so that she can come and relieve us because of just the way the structure of our schedules is. And so that is absolutely the right answer.
There is a tree on, in a road in Sulligent, Crutchfield Road.
Is that an email?
Yes.
Okay, hold on, I'll pull that one up.
Very, very,
Is that from Rebecca? That was the person in Cruise I was mentioning. Hold on. See, that's the very top there. Yeah, it's a pretty blurry image. But I mentioned earlier that we had some dedicated viewers in Cruise, even from the very beginning of my time at WTVA. Rebecca, that's a pretty good sized tree. Give me the location one more time.
that is on Crutchfield Road in Sulligent. That is a
Let's see if I can get that into what sort of chat for them. Slack. Moment. Oh, yep. Thank you. That's different. That's Memphis, but they're all clears. They do megaphone. Thank you for keeping up with that for me. Somebody's got to make sure I know what I'm doing. Let's go ahead and post that if we could.
Okay.
Minimize that. And I'm going to check over there in our.
Just have 20,000 that power.
Okay, most of those are down south.
Yes, most of them are down south. I don't know if there was a,
Is that near Hattiesburg? Yeah.
Yeah,
Was
my
it?
family said. they
Hold on,
want-
let's hear what your family said.
They want a Matt Walk on because they're.
Well, okay, I didn't mean that. Never mind. I don't want to know Matt. I don't want to hear what they said. But are they all okay?
No, they're fine. Crazy. She was literally just about to leave for work when the tornado touched down. And she just said it was just wind howling and all that. The gas was.
Yeesh. That's no good. Well, I'm glad they're okay. Hey, we need to go on real quick here, at least on NBC. This changed just enough. I want to make sure that we have some advanced heads up. Is that all right, Brad? I don't have good wind confirmation on this, but I don't know that I'm going to get it at this distance. Let's go ahead and pop on NBC. Okay. I'm not in Huntsville's chat
Yeah,
yet.
you want me to put that picture on Switch chat?
Did I put it in the wrong spot?
Three?
Yeah, that's Birmingham.
Oh.
Hey, Chief Meteorologist Matt Lawton here alongside Meteorologist Chelsea Simmons again. Listen, this is not a tornado warning here. but the angle has changed, and I'd rather make sure we do too much coverage and not enough. Notice here how our angle has changed near McLeod. We talk a lot about this, how when this kind of swings that direction, I'll stand on this side for a moment to show you. There's that angle change, and it's kind of jutting ahead. There's probably at least wind damage there, moving through Paulette, moving toward Dancy and Cochran and Ridge here. In far eastern Noxubee County, moving into Pickens County, Alabama there. Again, the wind mode does not show me enough to say that this is a tornado or necessarily needs to prompt a tornado warning, but experience tonight tells me that this could be damaging as it tries to move in with just wind damage and perhaps something more than that. So I'd rather be too cautious as opposed to not cautious enough. And so that's the reason we're doing this. So Doppler radar indicating some rotation. You can see that at the top of your screen there where it says rotation detected there. And so we're tracking this toward Cooksville against 713, 716, Dinsmore, Dancy 717, Cochran 722, Vienna 725, Ridge at 729, Bridgeville there 732, Lewiston 738, and 741 near Morrow's Grove. This is Doppler radar indicated rotation, still fairly broad, going to the wind mode here. Again, you'll notice I cannot prove any kind of tornado with this section here. So it's possible that the atmosphere isn't perfect to do that at that location, but we're also looking versus, when this was up in Lamar County, even, or in Monroe County, you're very close to the radar site, so we look a lot closer to the ground. And even there where it's in Fayette County, that's a lot closer to the radar site than we are down here in southern Noxubee County, right? So we're probably a mile up into the sky, so there's something that's going on at the surface potentially that's not detected by radar in this situation. So I'd rather do, again, give you too much heads up than not enough. And so east of Macon, that's what we're watching there, moving toward Memphis, Alabama, and Aliceville. Now, again, I would not say it's this high confidence that this is a tornado, to be perfectly clear. I'm not highly confident that that's what this is, but I'd rather give a little extra heads up. So here's our storm track, and we'll kick it back to today's show here in just a moment. But if you do know someone who lives out ahead of this into Pickens County, Alabama, Cooksville, we're watching this for you, of course, in the near term there, as it's over top of McLeod and Paulette. Dinsmore at 717, Aliceville 730 if it continues about that 45 miles per hour. So watching this closely could potentially prompt at least a severe thunderstorm warning for locations there in southern Pickens County. Go back to program. Good with that, Chelsea?
Yep.
Okay. Send you back today. We'll be here. Keep it here. Just enough of an angle on that, but it would be silly to not, especially when we're in a news program.
So rain totals,
Yes.
the highest that we've ever had, southern Tisch County in between Belmont and Red Bay has got over 6 inches of rain.
6 inches of rain on round one. Whew. Okay, is that on two? I'll pull up your two real quick. Man, that's round one. And again, this is estimated. There probably is some hail contamination in this.
Yeah.
But because they did have multiple, but they had a lot of different storms go through there, so that's not terrible. Yeah, try the the other what's what I'm looking for. Where's it at? I think it's under the main palette. Yeah, here we are. Let's just go 12-hour rain on this here. Let's see how far off that is. Or is that the same one?
That's something that's weird how the rain today. This is.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm clicking these things on mine, not yours. Let's click under the main palette. There's two different ways which we estimate radar totals, and I wonder if this one is a little more true without the hail contamination. But yeah, so that's what 1, 2, 3, at least 3 inches of rain, 3.5 to maybe 4 inches of rain possible out of this. Hail, when we get big hail that falls, especially, and we had multiple rounds of small hail as well, that can throw off rainfall estimations. Flash flooding and flooding in general are going to be big concerns over the next 7 days, with multiple, especially latter part of this week and into the weekend, multiple rounds of significant flash flooding and potential for severe weather to occur. So yeah, we expect we'll probably have more issues going forward. look at what we have here. I'm gonna check some of our chat here, make sure there's not something else we're missing. Yep, as Ariel said, I said people Fulton Tupelo gotta go to work. Yeah, everybody gotta go to work. And I would say that I don't know that there's a location. This is now, luckily, this is weekend. Whatever that was, we spooked it for going on air. It's not how that works, but anyway. It is falling apart more as it's moving in southern Pickens County. So I would say you're here in Macon, you're out here in Louisville. We need to be going to work too. Not that you were going to not go to work, but you know, school and everything like that. I think we should be in good shape in those spots as well. There's going to be heavy rainfall. You're going to need an extra 10 minutes to get there, depending on how long your trip is, just because how much rain is falling. The roads are still probably trying to work that out of there. So there will be some localized flooding style issues there. Checking for flash flood warnings at this point, which I've spent very little time looking at. We do still have spots up here in Franklin and north of Franklin counties there where we have flash flood warnings in effect because of all the heavy rainfall, and still maybe another half an inch, 3/4 of an inch still going with this rain shield and still falling. So that's the reason why that in effect. The southern one there until 9:30, and the northern one, I believe, until 11. Yeah, 11:15 this morning. For the potential for some rainfall issues with that. I'm sure Chelsea addressed this earlier, but the severe risk for today is primarily, again, ahead of this line to the south and east. Severe risk for tomorrow is mainly, again, to the west and northwest with a system that's going to stall. And that's where the flooding comes in. That's also where the potential for significant severe weather comes in. Here's our Wednesday severe weather risk. And Chelsea and I were talking about this last night as well. This zone out here closer to Memphis is probably the more highlighted zone for severe weather. And there's just some questions as to how deep into our area that ends up coming. Damaging winds, tornadoes, a possibility out of that threat. But then it extends beyond that there. So give me a moment as I'm gonna have to kind of build this on the fly if you'll stick with me here.
Thursday, they put, they don't have anything on the map.
Okay.
They have
So they held off on extending this past Thursday.
predictability too low.
Yeah, predictability, and I would agree 100% with that. So they've gone with the description predictability too low beyond Thursday. You'll notice Thursday severe weather risk, similar spots to where Wednesday's was. And it's along a front that's going to be stalled here with very significant flash flooding issues associated with that. So we will have more severe weather threats probably into Friday, maybe into Saturday. And I didn't look close enough on the latest stuff last night to see whether or not Sunday involved.
So
But that's plenty. I'm gonna come over here closer to Chelsea to hear her from. Yeah, go ahead.
right now, it looks like it's Saturday overnight Sunday.
Mhm.
So another potential overnight threat. That's still days away. So the
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
timing is going to
timing.
change and update.
The whole idea of the butterfly effect, right? Butterfly flaps its wings and it's hurricane someplace else. While that's an exaggeration in this case, the reality is that what we have happening today is going to leave things that then alter the way, Wednesday and Thursday, Friday, and then Saturday night and Sunday go. So there will be additional severe weather risks under what will be hopefully a whole bunch of risks and none that ends up being a high risk, if that makes sense. But there are indications certainly there that tornadoes possible on multiple instances for parts of the area. I would say the preference in most cases for most of those rounds is the northwest portion of the area. And maybe we get to miss at least one of those. Okay, so for the folks that are still hanging with us on live streams, both at WTVA.com and of course Facebook Live and all those other places. Again, your big headline as of 7:20, you were going to work this morning and you are not blaming me. Because again, if we're kind of northwest of reform, and I know somebody's going to take this line and say, well, Matt said the line was over me. What was I supposed to do? Because you're supposed to do, you're supposed to go to work. Because even ahead of this, I can't say that I have a high confidence level that we're going to have anything pop up out of it. I just have a non-zero confidence level. I don't know if I explained that right. But back here, you're done. So if you're out here kind of behind this line, we're done with the severe weather section. So we're about to hit here in just a second. They do weather and then a commercial and then us. Okay, well, good. I'll. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Appreciate it. So we're gonna do our on-air cut in just a second. Thirty seconds. Yeah. Lots of cues. We'll be good. Chief Meteorologist Matt Lopon here at about 7:21. Most of us are done as far as severe weather is concerned today, can go about our business, go where we need to go, okay? We're watching ahead of this in particular, still a couple spots in and around Noxubee, maybe Pickens County or Winston County. Again, I don't see any imminent severe circulations on this at this instant. What we were watching has weakened some, still some strong wind gusts and a lot of flooded roadways. Build in extra time for that and keep it here for the latest. You know, back in the day, we always did those live. I know. Okay. 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 Well, we will hack together something that looks like something. Let me see here. I need to throw in. Can you save can you save the AM 7-day forecast? Open it up and save it as delete. And I will, because if I throw in your AM forecast, oh wait, no, this is your shit.
You're
No,
in mine.
I'm in yours. We can
Yeah.
do that. There we go. Okay, HBH. Let's see here. Okay, well, it's not 7-day. Day part, 7-day basic. Hold on. Which one of these is the AM 7-day?
C block.
I was just searching for the word 7 days. Not...
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. I just pulled from the C block up here to this.
Where you at, Severe?
All the way at the top. Yeah, and severe. I'll throw that at the end. There we are. Okay. Thank you. Go there. Okay. We'll have a slightly longer one here in a moment. We're kind
So
of...
from Facebook, this is not from somebody official, but supposedly there's some trees down.
Hold on, I can't hear over her. What did you say more time?
Trees down in Monroe County, Greenbrier, Jonesboro Road. Supposedly some road on the Detroit Road.
Yeah, we don't call you main director. I will let you
Which
give.
they already
Hey,
did one time.
that they did.
Yes.
Hey, real quick, Brad. I might toss to Chelsea at some point in here, so it'll be me and then Chelsea and then back to me probably. I'll let you deliver that information. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's not confirmed.
Okay. Yes. Yeah. You don't have to give specific stuff. We're getting some viewer
Okay.
reports of some trees down near this area. We're working to confirm, that. Okay. Is that not automatic? You know what? I'm not going to worry about that. Not going to be my problem. We'll get you back to, of course, the rest of today's show in a moment here as they rejoin without missing any of that here in a moment. But we're watching severe thunderstorms in Noxubee County there. Severe thunderstorm warning continues till 8 a.m. A few stronger thunderstorms, but mainly exiting Winston County now. So the heaviest rainfall lightning is, of course, near the Sugar Lock area. Looking at wind and everything here, some broad rotation there, but I don't see anything that necessarily says that this is going to produce a tornado, thankfully. I think that's just not the way this is structured. And the part that where we did have a little bit more rotation a minute ago, that has largely fallen apart as it's moved in here south of the Aliceville area, which is part of the reason why we now continue to move into damage assessment mode. Rebecca in the Solagent area sending us this picture. I mean, it's pretty blurry, but you can see there a tree, fairly large one, knocked down on one of the roads there in Solagent. So be aware that we could have some issues like that. I do want to bring in our meteorologist, Chelsea Simmons. Few reports of damage coming from in and around Monroe County potentially there. Chelsea, what do you got?
Yes, so the EMA director there has reported that there have been several trees down around the county, so that could impact your morning commute. Now, some viewer reports that we have seen, reports of trees down close to Greenbrier Road, close towards the Athens area, to be kind of a area in that county, since Monroe County is so fairly broad. But other than that, there haven't been many reports from this morning's storms.
Okay, that's our meteorologist, Chelsea Simmons. Appreciate that. So severe weather risk continues to shift out of here for today. We have yet another one on the way as we look toward Wednesday, and a third as we look toward Thursday and maybe beyond. Unfortunately, the forecast remains very active going forward. Look at that 7-day forecast, which we didn't get you very often, of course, during our morning show, but want to get you now here. As you'll notice again, as this moves out, things dry out for tomorrow, but then after that, tricky forecast, an extended forecast. Uh, let's. Okay, you recorded yours. How bad do you feel about them? I'm gonna hand this back over to you.
Yeah.
If you want to do the first one of those live, you can. Otherwise, do the, I guess, second one
What
live.
times are they?
We don't know
About
when the
2
next
minutes?
one's gonna be. It's the one that always.
Are they both 2 minutes?
No, one of them is going to be 30
30
seconds.
seconds? Okay.
Like I want the seven. I think we should do 7:55 either way. And then the one before that though, it's the question is how terribly dated is your
Just do
30
them both live.
Okay.
If you're gonna do 7:55 one, live, that's the longer one, and then the 30-second, it take longer to record it than just to do it.
Yeah, I know. We don't need to record it. Okay, well, I'll let you take that. I'm gonna put
Okay.
my stuff up, head back home.
Okay.
I am gonna probably shut down this Facebook Live here, for y'all and YouTube Live. We're gonna go ahead and shut this down. I'm gonna double check here real quick to see if we had any kind of reports. I would say everybody's pretty much all clear here. And yes, there is a Lamar County on the. I'm gonna click this back over here while she's kind of doing all that. Lamar, Mississippi was impacted with that Hattiesburg storm. So yeah, we had unfortunately Lamar, Alabama, and Lamar, Mississippi that had issues there. Okay. I don't see a whole lot of other reports in there. Okay, we're going to go ahead and stop this stream down here.
Appreciate y'all for your patience and hopefully got a little bit of sleep. Sorry if you didn't get much.